Excellent. Good. Nice to meet you. Wonderful to see so many people here. It was a great presentation, even I didn't know everything that was said. I've been here for 4 years, and like Lars Kleberg Graphisoft said, it seems like dog years, so it feels like 28. So. But I will give you a short update. First, I would like to say some few words about Nordic BIM Group, what has happened the last year. This is a picture from when we were doing strategy internal competition in Budapest earlier this year. And everything is about competition. So we have Sweden, we have the Hungarian team, we have the Finnish team, and we have the Norwegian team. And the most important thing is that the Norwegians didn't win. That was the biggest celebration at all, because they are very special. So the Hungarian team won this time. Thank you. It's not only dog years, you need to keep me in short leash as well. With Nordic BIM Group, we have been around for 30 years in Sweden, Norway, and Finland in different entities, and then we became Nordic BIM Group, mainly working with services, sales, training, support. But then also last year, we invested a little bit more in what we call the BIM and LCA solution plus CAD projects. We brought the Hungarian development team CAD project into the group. So why do we do that? Yes, they are developing our internal IPR, the Anavitor LCA, the retail solution, the Nordic tools, and also some Solibri rule sets. But also we're doing a lot of other things like smart BIM objects. We are doing add-ons for ourselves, add-ons for external customers, add-ons for other Graphisoft partners, and also for add-ons for Graphisoft itself. So one of the things you will see, for example, Land4 is also a customer of Nordic BIM Group in that sense. The smart BIM objects, this has been quite shaping up interest in this. So it's not stupid objects, since we call them smart. These are objects that is not only geometrical, with a shape and form. They have information, they have logical behavior, they have compliance, different rules. So we see more and more of this is coming, and this is absolutely essential when we are doing work with retail customers and interior designers. I wanted to show you something what we do for what we call custom solution projects. This is a very ugly video. I'm sorry, but it's direct from production. This is what's cooking right now. One of our customers in retail, Rusta, we developed earlier this year a solution for integrating their planograms to BIM. This is essential for their productivity. Super important. And now when they're starting using this, they found out, wow, we have thousands of PDFs. And we need to look up those PDFs when we are in Archicad in the planograms. It takes too much time to go out and back in again. So we want to do it inside. So that's where we created a PDF viewer. So an add-on that makes them in Archicad open up the PDFs and see what kind of products and furnishing they can allow in that space in the building information model. So the expected result is that they increase their efficiency, spend more time on doing more things. And then another sample is Swiss Pearl, that was formerly named on Sembrit. They're doing facade elements. So they're also looking for productivity increase, that how can we actually have a more efficient way of having different kind of patterns on facade elements, and not only applying them on the walls just as it is, but actually these are GDL objects, so they automatically attach to the wall, and the holes for windows and door, etc., it's automatically cut out, which also means that the quantity surveillance of this is accurate, and the quality of this is correct. So this speeds up their process significantly. And then the keynote on this is a very difficult question, so I should predict the future. If you know you predict the future, you know that's not going to happen a year from now. And we are now making plans for 2026 in Nordic BIM Group. We are also doing this with Graphisoft. And so we look quite positive on the next year, 2026, as it looks right now. But my board of directors and also Graphisoft said, but hey, Jürgen, you said that last year as well. Anyway, so we have looked into different kind of sources, more trustworthy than me, and from Norway, Sweden, and then Finland. And there's some quite interesting things for other sources than my gut feeling. So after a decline in 6% in 2024, we now see a growth in 3% this year, and it will continue for the next couple of years. The cost in Norway is much, much more expensive per square meter than it, for example, is in Sweden. This is now creating an initiative in Norway to, hey, how can we benchmark? How can we do better? How can we speed up the process in order to be on a par level with Sweden? So this is also going to drive future projects ahead. And also then the house marking, that's a very small text for me here. The house marking prices is expected to increase. It varies a little bit in different cities. Oslo 12%, Bergen 11% at the same time. The sales have been slow, but one important thing, that the stock of unsold completed housing has actually been decreased. So the stock is out, which means we need to produce more. This is a really good sign. We also have testimonials from customers in Finland that says requests that come in from customers, and the order book is actually increasing noticeable. We see a positive sign. Not that we see it in the profit, the P&L today, but we see it coming from the coming years. And a really good sign also here in Sweden says that 35% of architect companies plan to hire new employees within the next 6 months. This is super important. This is a healthy sign on the market because it has been really tough years. And this little diagram, it's quite interesting. It's from Sweden, from Boverket. We see that in 2024 and 25, we were on all-time low, or as my CFO used to say, this is rock bottom. It can't be worse than this. But now we see for next year, it's starting to grow. And I think in Sweden, we will not get up to the top levels we had in 21, 22, but we will at least be around 50,000 starting new projects as a sustainable level of doing it. So the signals are good. Then just looking at the market in general, that we have, even though it's been tough years, 7 out of 10 says they're going to continue to invest in digitalization, even though it's tough. This is essential. You have to take money to invest into this. And also that the digitalization, it can bring a lot of value to you on the last line in your profit. So more than 100 million NOK is an investigation for Norway, with standardized data, better flow between disciplines, faster processes, and also taking better informed decisions. This is what really driving this. And when it comes to the sustainability, this has been very much focused on doing CSRD reporting, being compliant, customer regulations. But now we see this is going more into business. It's not only you have to do this, you do this because it's a competitive advantage. Customers are actually asking for this. And you can see in construction companies that when they are submitting the tenders, the tons of carbon is also part of the tender evaluation, which means that the tons of carbon is your new currency. That's why I, by joke, put this in Euro O2. It's in the tender evaluations. So this is actually important. It's business driving the sustainability forward. So in summary, the outlook as we see it is good. I hope I can say that next year as well. Looking at the BIM growth. When I had my first contact with BIM, that was 30 years ago, with the group of Finnish professors that were lining out the strategy on what today is the IFC and BIM. At that time, it was called product models, building product models. Now it's building information models. It took some years before this took ahead, but now every kind of research is between 10 or 17% year-on-year growth. And what is really driving this now? Well, the main driver is greater focus on energy efficiency and sustainability. That's going to be one of the main drivers of increasing the number of users for BIM. So looking at other potential sources than for global drivers, I mentioned this sustainability and energy efficiency. Here we also have a cooperation with Chalmers Technical University in Gothenburg. They have a professorship into this area. So this is really important. We also see the emerging technologies like AI and digital twins. That cannot happen without the BIM model. We still have regulatory push, the requirements, that will also drive, and it's a lot about transparency and communication in the projects. It also needs that BIM needs to grow. We have more focus on data, I will come back to that, and collaboration in the cloud. The more information that is in BIM, the eye is getting bigger in BIM, which means that more people need to use the BIM software. And there is also push on smart cities and urbanization, and that is also quite difficult if we don't have BIM models for our properties. So, some tangible trends here and right now. We see that BIM increases the value of the project deliveries. You just don't submit your drawings, and then that's it. But actually delivering a bit more, including a digital twin in your delivery, including the full BIM model, including more information, that actually is of value for the end user, the customer. This has been a competitive advantage, systematically delivering this. We also see that data is getting more important. The I in BIM. We see integration with the business in ERP, ordering, purchase. We see smart BIM objects, as I mentioned. The retail is in big transformation. During the pandemic, some said that retail is out. The stores is out. Now we buy everything online. Today, the retail chains is investing heavily in BIM. BIM as a central platform for driving transformation. So the stores are important. We see AI, and this is an opportunity and a struggle in a way. We invest in a good, nice AI tool and say, wow, this is great. Great tool. Yeah, let's invest in that. A month later, there's another one coming out even better. So which kind of horse should we bet on? But it's a good learning journey. And I assume that those tools will improve again and again and again. And finally, I would say 99%. What does that mean? 99% of all the buildings we see around us is already built. We focus so much on the new fancy projects. Oh, we used BIM in this one. Oh, we did that. That's only 1%. If we could create BIM models of what's already out there in a good, efficient way, that's a huge market. And looking on the valuation on this, a property owner that owns 2 equal buildings, they have the same kind of profit in the buildings, and they have the same amount of square meters. If one of them would have a digital twin or even a good information on the building information model, and with sustainability data, that building would have been worth more on the market. So the information is a value driver. And I think there's a huge opportunity for everyone involved into business to also look at the 99% and not only to the 1% that's going to be built that year. So with this short introduction, I think I hold my 15 minutes perfectly. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope that my prediction, supported with the other, will be okay for next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I believe there might be some questions in the audience. Onko teillä kysymyksiä? Jani on valmiina hyökkäämään mikin kanssa. A bit like morning tired audience here still.
This is Helsinki.
But actually, I have some questions for you. It's a very positive outlook that you give. How is it, in your opinion, what are the main drivers for this trend to continue upwards, or what could slow it down?
That's a big question, above my pay grade, I would say. But the economy fundamentals right now seem to be positive. The interest rate is going down. So it's possible to make a margin out of the project. And also what I mentioned, that the completed and the stock of housing, that is also is decreasing, which means there is a market. Also, being a bit blunt against investors, it's like a cattle crowd in a way. It's a herd. And when a lot of them starting to believe, yes, now is the right time, they follow this group behavior. And then if many in that group, if that cattle runs in the same direction, that's most likely the truth. Mm. So as long as many believe it, it's going to happen. So that's what I believe is going to be main driver. And on the flip side of the coin, I think we have a huge geopolitical instability. There are so many conflicts all over. I haven't seen this in my young, short life before, but we also know that one escalation or one conflict, it can scare away the cattle crowd. Mm. And we don't know, we can't really see that coming. But otherwise, if there's no big escalation of the conflicts, it looks really promising for the next year and so on.
Thank you. Any more questions? There is one question. So, let's get Jani on place, and you're welcome.
Thank you. In the past, Graphisoft had some steps in construction management software, as well as engineering, like HVAC and piping and plumbing. And how do you see the future in that field? Will those areas remain separate programs which Archicad has to collaborate with, or is there still a future for Archicad in these other areas?
Very good question, and the short answer is yes. I think to operate in the BIM world today, it's all about collaboration. You need to use the kind of tools that is most efficient for you, for your practice, and you need to collaborate with each other with that information. That's one of the main reasons with Open BIM, etc. But also with Archicad, as you will see today, with this MEP designer, it takes the next step. On the very same fantastic platform with Archicad, just add the MEP toolkits on top of it. And I think this is a huge advantage, as I see it, and we are supporting this initiative very much. In all fairness, I would say that the legacy system in that, the DDS part of it, it wasn't really our flavor, but putting that functionality on Archicad, then the workflows, everything makes perfectly sense.
Thank you so much, Jörgen. Let's give one more big round of applause.
Thank you.